One way you can grow cherry tomatoes is in a little pot, and cherry tomatoes are
Indeterminate.
indeterminate, which means they'll keep growing and growing until it gets cold and they die.
Yep. And so you can use something as small as a little pot like this, and as you can see, not crazy amounts of growth, but we have tomatoes that are growing on here, and they're gonna keep growing, and there's more up here. So they're gonna keep coming, and this plant will continue to get bigger and bigger over time too.
Another way you can grow tomatoes is in a big fabric bag like this.
Yep, and as you can see, this one also has a decent amount of tomatoes on it. This was planted at the same time as the one you just saw a minute ago in the pot. So this one has, a little bit more room, more composted soil that we're working with. So we're probably going to get more out of this just because it's got more nutrients to feed off of and get bigger and bigger. So if you have the ability to, and the space, to grow in one of these little fabric bags, I would go ahead and give that a shot if you want a bigger yield from your cherry tomatoes.
These are our newest planted cherry tomatoes in our new garden bed.
Yep, this is our raised garden bed, so this will give these cherry tomatoes probably the best opportunity in our garden to stay healthy as well as become kind of large plants. I did not plant them at the beginning of the year this year because as you'll see in a second, those cherry tomatoes, those plants can get real big. Like we said, they're called indeterminate varieties, which means they just keep on growing as long as they can. And because of that, they could easily take over a garden bed like this and kind of get in the way of this basil that we're growing, and some lemon basil and some bigger tomatoes over there. So we waited for a couple other plants that didn't do so well, pulled them and put these in their place. And then as the season goes on, hopefully we'll be getting a ton more cherry tomatoes out of this one.
And another way to plant them is straight in the ground, like these ones.
Yeah, and if you look down here, we've got these ones planted right into our backyard ground above our retaining wall. And then there's a bunch of mulch over the top. These ones honestly only have about, I would say, a gallon of compost in the hole that I dug out, and everything else is kind of very, very clay soil. So I wasn't expecting these ones to grow very well, and they are actually growing the best. I had to use some metal stakes. I got those from Farm and Fleet for $1.99. There's two of them, as you can see, that kind of help support this because they got real wide and it just kind of started blowing up. It's also kind of taking over the little chicken wire here, but that's okay. That's just helping support it and helping keep these tomatoes from going on the ground. So we're gonna do some more tests next year, but it seems that cherry tomatoes right in the ground with our clay soil and some compost mixed in there is the way to go for us to get the biggest yield that we can. I'll also say, just so you know, these cherry tomatoes are gonna be better than anything you have tried at the store. They're sweet. They are way more like a fruit than they are a tomato. And we just eat them as snacks all the time, or they're great in salads or anything. So save yourself some money and just do the teeny bit of work that's required to get one of these cherry tomato plants going, and enjoy the yield you get and the flavor you get from these, because it's just a way better experience. All right, so we're going to show you how easy it is to pick some of these. As you can see, here's our little bowl here. That's pretty much every day we can pull off, that, or maybe even twice as much with just this one cherry tomato plant.
Yesterday we got it all the way to the top, and maybe like a little mountain.
Yeah, off of just one cherry tomato plant too. It's pretty cool. So here Aurora's gonna pull this little one off for you. Doesn't take too much work. They pop right off. Go in the bowl or in your mouth. Either one works fine. Okay, so here we have it. This is after about 60 seconds of picking, minus the, 10 or so that we popped in our mouths while we were picking as well. Now, real quick, we're just going to show you some basics about the different stages of the cherry tomato that you're going to be looking for. So what you're going to find is when you first start growing these, you're going to get a whole lot of leafy greens going, stalks, leaves coming off everywhere, and then eventually you're going to start seeing these little yellow flowers, kind of like this right here, come off, and you'll see them all over the place. If it's a big one, those are what are going to potentially turn into your tomatoes. And after a little bit, pollen that they provide themselves with the wind blowing around will spread around the flower, and you'll get some really, really little tomatoes that start growing. Here's a good example of one in here. You'll start seeing these teeny little bulbs right here. See if I can get focused in on, yeah, like that.
Dad,
There we go. That's what we're looking for.
Dad, there's a really red one that I can't get.
Oh, we'll get it in a minute. And then you'll go through this stage of this green growth, and then they'll start getting kind of more reddish. And once they're kind of a deep red, that's when they taste the best. But even these ones I'm showing you right here, we could pick those, and they would taste just fine. Okay, so there you have it. From something as small as a little pot to our fabric bag over there, all the way over to a raised garden bed, and even directly just in the ground right there, you can get your cherry tomatoes growing. A little bit of space, a lot of space, whatever you got, there's no reason you can't get that going. I think personally, with this one that you're looking at now on the hillside, if we had 3 to 4 of those, our family of 4 who all eats cherry tomatoes would not have to buy a single one all summer once they started coming in. Every day I would say we get a decent bowl full off of just that one. So